I will not die easily. I am a warrior.
Well, yeah, man, I'm excited about the interview. I've always really loved your work, and actually, I've really progressed. I mean, even just with the little bit of stuff that you put on Instagram or that workshop that you did, um, I really notice a difference in my work already. So, like, I
Oh,
really, yeah, yeah. I mean, I need to dedicate to it more. I know that course that I was working with you on, I just kind of got distracted, but um, it's going to be part of my regimen moving forward.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the famous When I'm Dead podcast. So this is where we meet master artists and discuss what they do to thrive as creatives and gain notoriety while they're still above ground. Today we're talking with Xi Ding, and I'll just read what I already wrote here because I think it's worded well. That I'm excited to announce that we're interviewing the great Xi Ding, the legendary Xi Ding.
Thank you.
Is an international award-winning caricature artist based in Vienna, Austria. If you don't know his work, okay, so now I'm reading this. I crawl out from under a rock and see what greatness looks like. Ooh. But yeah, I don't know if we need much more of an introduction unless there's something that you want to say to introduce yourself.
Oh, to introduce myself. I don't know. I think I'm really still learning. I I don't consider myself to be one of those great artists.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm still developing my style. I'm not very happy with my current style actually.
Really?
Yeah, I changed my style several years ago, right?
Hmm.
Before that, I was mostly I did mostly a painterly style, and
Mm-hmm.
I switched to this cartoony style that I do right now. But still, I don't like it that much. I think somehow I need to combine those two directions, and
Yeah.
haven't figured out how to do that.
You mean combine the digital, the really clean digital stuff with.
Yeah, the clean and the messy style, and somehow meeting between.
Okay.
I'd be experimenting, but still, yeah. When you get into the habit, it's very difficult to change.
What kind of stuff have you been doing to experiment? Oops. What kind of stuff have you been doing?
For example, I in January. Oh my God, it's May already.
Yeah.
At this time, oh, it's crazy. Yeah, in January, there was a 30-day challenge, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was experimenting with different styles, and otherwise just do some quick exercises. Yeah. Also in life drawing, I try to break my habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I actually started doing this polygram style a couple of years ago for the challenge, the January challenge, and I've probably made about 60 or maybe in between 60 and 100 of those polygram types, and they're starting to get better and more interesting. And the ones that I've used, I tried to like incorporate your lighting techniques into that style, which is really kind of difficult.
Yeah, that's tricky. They're very
Yeah.
different, right?
Well, they're not that much different. It's just that the polygram style has these blocks, and your shading is more smooth, and
Yeah.
your shadows are more smooth. But I think I made it work with a couple of pieces. They weren't 100%, but they looked pretty good. But yeah, I know how you feel. And actually, man, your painting style is really incredible. So I definitely encourage you. Like I encourage you to just you know, if that's the direction that you're going, is to go back to that style because they're really impressive. And for me, I know one of the things that I don't like about that polygram style or that really clean style is it's like that middle part. The sketching is fun and the finishing it is fun, but the middle part is like, for me, it's too robotic. You know, it's like I'm just taking the steps to like make the lines super clean and all of that. So I personally don't really like that middle part. I prefer to do the painting, and actually the painting is much faster anyway. So
The middle part, you mean tracing out all the geometry?
yeah.
And painting, you mean rendering?
I mean painting referring to a different kind of technique, like more painterly style
So
stuff.
you don't just fill in the area.
I do. I make the geometric things and then I drop the colors in, and then sometimes I do some shading and then it's done. But that middle part where I'm doing the geometry and dropping the colors in, it's not really enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at some point AI will take over this
Oh yeah.
very soon.
That's why you know, I've been talking to people about this, like on your iPad, maybe you should turn off the recorded feature because
they're learning. Yeah.
Exactly. So pretty soon you'll just enter your photograph and they'll say, "Oh, I want seeding style," and then algorithm will pump it out.
Yeah. You know, recently many people told me that there is an app which steals my works, and they use them as a promotion for turning a photo into a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the app, of course, nowadays the app still doesn't do anything like we do.
Mm-hmm.
And they just steal my work to make a false advertisement, right?
Did you try to contact them or?
No, I just report those ads. Those are paid ads on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you cannot report that in App Store.
Oh, okay.
Right, you can only report the ads, and if you report it, they will take down one ad, but some time later they will put up another one.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, that gives people the impression that now it's already possible to make cartoons out of photo.
Well, I'm kind of moving away from. I'm trying to maybe not move away is probably not the right word, but I'm trying to increase or widen my skills a little bit, because it was about 6 years ago that I dedicated myself to caricature, and I've gotten pretty good at caricature.
Only 6 years?
Yeah. But now with the coronavirus thing, I'm realizing like I need to maybe make a visual development portfolio or character design portfolio, or maybe concept art or something like that, because
no, caricatures very vulnerable. Yeah.
So let me get into the 100 different clickbait titles that I came up with that I'm going to put in the YouTube description. We don't have to talk about all of these, but these are some things that we could kind of circle around.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we will cover 3 main tools to better Procreate portraits: layers, lighting, learning.
Let's see.
Yeah, we'll cover some stuff. I think we'll probably get on a lot of this stuff organically, actually.
You're going to edit the video, the recording, right?
Yeah, I can edit it a little bit.
Okay.
Is there something you want to take out already? You didn't say anything back.
Yeah, give me several tickets for taking out.
Okay.
Till now, everything's fine.
You what?
Till now, everything's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, so 3 main tools to better Procreate portraits. Actually, man, like I hate to be like a fanboy and like jump right into this, because I know people probably ask you this all the time.
Yeah.
But I've been really working on my Instagram a lot lately, and I'm even taking a class on it right now. And I just want to know, like, if you could share a couple of tips on
Portrait, drawing portrait, or
about Instagram, like how you're marketing yourself on Instagram.
okay. Yeah.
Have you, like, when I first met you, you were struggling you were trying to get to 100,000, and then I just looked at your Instagram last night, and I think you're at like 192. So that was only like a year and a half maybe ago, or 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think, mm, yeah, my first post that really exploded in that sense, yeah, which brought me much further, was when I painted, when I did a breakdown of my painting process.
And
And
you
that was
put
the
that on
very first one.
ArtStation first?
Sorry again?
Did you say you put that on ArtStation or you put that on Instagram?
On Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a caricature I did of some colleague. And I did a pretty 3D like rendering.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, at that time I noticed that people, they really enjoy seeing this kind of tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept doing it. Then my Instagram began to grow, because before that I've been posting maybe for 2 or 3 years and nothing really happened. I've posted many works of mine, also in different styles, and also live drawing and studio works. And then I started to post those kind of breakdowns,
Mm-hmm.
and they grow much faster than before. And then maybe 3 years ago, I posted, I drew Black Panther.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was another stage of rapid growth. I noticed that Marvel characters were really popular.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, I'm myself also a fan, and I did Black Panther. I did several characters from that movie, and then I went on to do all the Marvel characters. And I think an important tip is pick some hot topic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds a little bit cheeky, but yeah, that really helps. You pick a hot topic and you stick to it for a while, because if you have a series of works on that topic, then you're the chance that somebody else, for example, some kind of website for memes, or yeah, for pop culture, the chance that they share your art as a series is much higher.
Oh.
You have to do a series in a consistent theme, and then they will write an article, share art, and that happened to me. I think that was the most important factor for my growth. And then I did some other series, like I enjoyed the film Mission Impossible 6. I did all the main characters, and that got shared a lot and got tweeted also by the film studio.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it went around quite a lot. And at that time, I also grew quite a bit. And then also, again, Marvel characters again.
Yeah.
All the Avenger movies, right? Yeah, I did some popular TVs. Yeah. Actually, I don't watch TV that much. I don't watch Netflix that much. I just watch the barely minimum
Okay.
that's required for doing art.
Yeah.
I did Stranger Things, several
Yeah.
characters, right?
That was super popular.
Super popular. Yeah, maybe I did a little bit of Game of Thrones. Yeah, not that much. Mm-hmm.
So far, I think the main points that definitely match up with what I'm learning about Instagram is that you mentioned that you pick a hot topic, you do a series, but the first boost that you got was from giving value. And you said that you put the thing out that showed how you did it, you got a big boost. And yeah, I mean, that really, I mean, I was following you anyway, but that really attracted me. Like I go back to those a lot of times when I'm doing paintings and I'm like, oh yeah, that layer, you know, and I like kind of remind myself of like how
Yeah.
I did that. So it's really helpful, you know.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I actually I didn't realize that so many people told me it was very helpful. For me, it was a kind of a routine already.
Mhm.
Yeah, caught me by surprise.
So I wanted to ask you also about what you're doing with hashtags. Now the algorithm has
Oh,
changed.
hashtag. Yeah, algorithm changes all the time.
Yeah.
I noticed that in the last year, my growth was much slower.
Oh,
Actually, I jumped from 10 to 100,000 pretty quickly.
wow.
Maybe in just a couple of months, maybe 3 months. I don't have that in my in memory, but now from 100 to 200,000, it took me much longer.
Hmm.
Well,
So,
hashtag, I really didn't pay much attention to hashtag. I just tried to use all the relevant hashtag that came up to me. People say that there are strategies in picking hashtag and also the numbers of hashtag. I really didn't pay any attention to that.
mhm.
What did you learn in your course, actually?
I'm still learning it. It's just they're just I'm in the middle of the course now, but they're
Yeah,
just talking about, you know, one of the biggest ones is creating value. Like that's the most
yeah,
important
yeah,
thing.
yeah. You have
Um,
to be a little bit different from what everybody else does, right? You
well,
have,
you have to give, you know, there's a strategy called jab, 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 hook. And
uh,
what they mean is like you just give, and then you ask. So,
so what kind of stuff do
well, I mean,
give?
for me, I just did one. I just shared one thing that showed my process on the Mr. Bean drawing that I did, and I'm gonna do that with some other ones too. Is like
And
to
that
show
did
my
well.
process. Sorry.
Uh, was that your best post?
No, no, but
No?
you know, one of my best posts was a caricature that I did of who's the main bad guy in Endgame?
Thanos?
Thanos. So I did one of Thanos, and like he had this big chin and like little tiny top of his head, and that one was actually just a traditional sketch with art sticks,
Oh,
and
really?
that one was super popular. And I actually ended up even boosting that one because it was so popular. And
Oh,
then
really?
um, another one that got a lot more attention was I'm sure you know Radiohead, yeah, the band.
Yeah, yeah.
So they had this song called No Surprises, and in the video, it's just Tom York singing, and he's got a astronaut helmet on, and water is like slowly filling up, you know, to drown him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I painted that because I was so inspired by the song, and that got right away a lot of attention. So I think that it should be something that you're really passionate about because that somehow comes through in the painting. And chances are, like, if you're really into something and it really moves you emotionally somehow, like, it does that for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also I notice, like, when I'm doing those 30-day challenges, um, I if if there's a comedian or like a subject that I don't really like that much, but the painting doesn't turn out as good. But if it's somebody that I like, I'll put more and more energy into it, and the painting becomes a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to like really stick with, you know, what you really like and what really, you know, gets you going.
Yeah, but do you think that uh, the reaction or the performance of your post is proportional to the quality that you perceive?
Do you mean that?
If you think a post is really good, does it perform well?
I don't think that it's as much as you would think,
Uh-huh.
because I put some stuff up that's not that great. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's nice, or but it might be an experiment. And then I put stuff up that's really clean and like developed, and it's the same. But you know, I only have I only have like 2,200 followers.
Uh-huh.
So, or 2,000, actually it's like 2,700 followers.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I probably don't see that much of a fluctuation like you do.
Okay. And do you look at the rate of the reach? How do I call it? How much percent of the reach isn't your followers?
I do.
Yeah. What
But
kind of percent do you have usually?
that's a good question. I can look right now.
Yeah, because that I think that's the most important figure for growth.
So
Right.
what do? You just go to one of your posts? Yeah, I only
Yeah,
have
look at the
2,000.
insight.
All right, I'll go down to this one. View insights.
And
4,000 on this one, 4,754.
reach. Yeah. And how many percent weren't following?
84% were not
84.
following
Oh,
me.
yeah, yeah. 84 is a very good number.
Yeah, this one got a lot of attention. The Mr. Bean one. Maybe I promoted that one. No?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I did. I did promote that one. That's why I got more. So look,
I once I tried to do paid promotion as well, but it didn't work at all. So I stopped.
really?
Yeah. Did it work for you?
Mine works, yeah. Yeah.
And how much do you have to pay to gain 1 followers on average?
It depends on the post. Like the Mr.
Yeah.
Bean one, I paid 12 about, well, it was about 10 euro I paid on that one.
Uh-huh.
And I got only 6 followers from that one. But
Yeah, I think that's about the rate. So you need a little bit more than €1 per follower.
I don't like doing it because I feel like it's so cheap. But like this one for Thanos.
It's expensive. It's not cheap.
Yeah. I mean, it's like desperate, you know?
Yeah, it's just really expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe for starting, maybe helps a little bit.
This Thanos one though, I got a lot more.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, for Thanos, I think I got like 32 followers for the same amount of money.
Uh-huh. Oh, really?
Yeah, here we go. I read 96% of the people were not following me.
Oh yeah. That's
got-
those posts were
I reached 21,000 people.
21,000. Wow, that's great.
And the follows, actually I spent close to that one was about $30 I spent on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 61 follows from that. 80% men. My viewers are mainly men, which is strange because Instagram is like actually more women.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's half, right?
Oh, I thought it was like 60% women.
Okay.
But you know, now with the new algorithm, only 10% of the people who follow you actually see your posts.
Yeah. I've noticed that maybe since a year or so.
Yeah.
Really slow down.
Yeah. I think they're wanting to encourage people to do more stories and more live stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, live streaming.
Yeah.
I've tried live streaming.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I was actually thinking about doing a live stream of the podcast, like have my phone like here and like stream the thing, but it's fine. I don't need to do it right now. But okay, so let me move on to. Well, is there anything else you want to say about
Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, you really nailed it, man. I mean, you're up to almost 200 now, so you're probably getting a lot of business from that, yeah?
Oh, actually, surprisingly, no, not that much because I get lots of messages every day. Okay, yeah, not every day, but lots of messages. And most of the people, they expect me just to do a sketch, to do a piece for, I don't know, $20, like that.
Yeah.
So I mostly stopped just replying.
Yeah.
And I did get some jobs from some studios.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they saw. I'm not sure if they saw my work on Instagram or generally in the internet. Yeah. For example, I got a job to do some lighting work for the film Klaus.
Oh, cool. I
I
talked to one
didn't.
of the guys that did that actually.
What did you say?
He said there was a team of 30 people that worked on the lighting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That small? My work was not for the studio themselves, but rather for the marketing materials, like those thumbnails that you see on Netflix.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So the film was already finished, and then some company in the United States, they found me, and yeah. And then I also got some similar kind of commissions now and then, but really not that much.
Would you mind if I go live here
Yeah,
for
sure.
a minute? All right,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go live. All right. Okay, we're now live. Let me turn the camera around. I'm just gonna set my camera up over here for a minute. That way I don't have to hold it. I don't wanna like answer questions and stuff. If people want to watch live the interview, they can do that, but
Yeah.
so I'm gonna point it toward you. There we go. Okay, now. Okay, now there you go. Cool. So if you're just tuning in, we're live with Seeding. So hello and welcome. I'm not gonna be able to answer what you're saying because we're talking, so you can tune into our conversation. So yeah, I guess we can leave the Instagram conversation there because it sounds like you're just creating like really great content and you're doing series and you're doing stuff that people like and you're creating value, and that seems to be pretty good for you. But you're getting people that want you to work for cheap sometimes and do $20.
All the time. No, 90% of the time they want me to work for free.
Yeah.
And the rest, I don't know, 8% want me to do it cheap.
Yeah.
And also, when I was still at maybe several thousand, I thought when I get to 100,000, I'm able to sell merch, right, and get rich. But actually, that also doesn't really work if you only have several 100,000. I think it's only profitable if you have over 1 million.
You know what though? I don't know. It depends on how you market that, you know? I mean, if you're doing like marketing consistently, and especially if you're doing Instagram stories and all of that, you can definitely funnel people into your store, but you just have to do it in the right way. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, it seems like you stay pretty busy though anyway, right?
Yeah, I have work from here and there.
Okay.
And what did I say in your course about stories? Because my stories are mostly just viewed by, I don't know, 10% or less than 10% of my followers. Like mostly it's under 10,000 reach. So story doesn't seem to be very effective for marketing.
They're just now getting into stories, but I think the live thing is picking up right now. But to be honest, I'm not really an expert. You know, I just started the course, so, but there's a lot of good information out there on the new algorithm. So yeah, I mean, you have enough of an audience, man, where I think that you can generate a pretty decent stream of income from your Instagram, as long as you point people or you funnel them into your store.
Maybe I've made several trials, but till now I'm not having significant income. Actually, not at all.
Really?
Yeah. Those commissions. I don't do private commissions usually from Instagram, but yeah, maybe several jobs in a year, 3 or 4 jobs in a year coming from Instagram. I mean, from bigger companies.
Uh-huh.
And they're also not big jobs. Yeah. So
Huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's see. Not that much actually.
that's strange. That seems strange to me. I mean, with almost 200,000 followers, it seems like that would be pretty
Yeah,
simple.
I also thought that 200 followers, 200,000 would be enough for doing some, generating some income, but maybe I'm not utilizing it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that you might be missing something. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert, but it seems like you can really. But 200,000, I mean, if you think 10% of that is 20,000 people that are seeing your posts, you know.
Stories, less than 10%. No, stories is just 10,000 mostly, under 10,000. People who see my post are mostly more than 100,000.
Mm-hmm. Are you
Difficult to say.
when you do those posts, are you pointing those people to your store, or do you have a link on your bio that
Oh,
links?
I still don't have a store.
Oh, well, that's why, man. You gotta have a store. You gotta have something that people can go to buy stuff.
I have a Gumroad shop just to sell some files, and of course, I have a link tree. Now I'm using another kind of a link, and I point people to the online tutoring session that I do right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I point to my Gumroad store, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But that's really very few. Very few people really do some purchase.
We actually did have some questions. You know what though? I'm gonna save those. I'm gonna save those to the end because they're more fun questions. And it was the same girl, the same girl that sent, like, I don't know if you remember when we were doing that workshop for ISCA and she was asking like what your favorite color was and like who would win, like a bear or do you
Does she have new questions this time?
Do you know her?
Yeah, because she took my session.
Okay.
I've known her before.
Okay. Yeah, she's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So, all right. So why don't we go into talking a little bit about better Procreate, or you're using Procreate, right?
Yes.
So three main tools for better Procreate portraits. And the things that I put were layers, lighting, and learning.
Yeah, learning.
So yeah, go ahead. I'll let you take it away from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that these three are important because in general, layer is important for digital painting, right? And I think lots of people, they still don't utilize the full power of layers. It's because if you paint in digital, if you use the digital tool but paint in a traditional way, that means if you paint everything on one layer, or you just add layers without changing the layer blending mode, then you are not utilizing the digital power, the efficiency that digital tool gives you.
There you go. You should have a book named Digital Power.
Yeah. And
that is something that I noticed too. I mean, I was following your technique, the way that you blend, and I've been using that in other paintings now too, because it definitely is. It's definitely powerful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because in traditional painting we can only do subtractive color mixing.
Yeah.
And in digital we can do subtractive and additive color mixing. That means you can add light directly to an image. And that's the biggest difference between the digital approach and the traditional approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also name your book Rim Lighting.
Yeah, rim lighting. I didn't invent rim lighting, but yeah, I make people remember it.
Yeah. So lighting, our layers lighting and learning. So is there anything else that you want to say about layers? Because obviously the blending mode is important, but one of the things that you do is, and this seems really simple, but really important, is that you name your layers. And I used to not name them. I used to not name them, you know, and it would I probably wasted 15 or 20 minutes every painting, like playing around with the layers, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I name my layers. It's because I use a quite strict analytical approach to do the lighting. And I use clipping mask as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also very useful and efficient tool. If you don't know what clipping mask is, you can look it up. In Procreate, there were no clipping mask before the current version. Right? And now I use clipping mask. I use blending modes. And I have a tip here for those people who switch between Procreate and Photoshop. Because if you use both, if you have ever tried to import a Procreate file into Photoshop, you'll notice that the blending mode add performs very differently in Procreate and Photoshop. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I don't really use Photoshop.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so in Procreate, the add blending will produce some really rich colors along the boundary of your light. But in Photoshop, you lose all that vibrance. If you just directly import, if you just export a Procreate painting to PSD.
Okay.
And that has bothered me for a very long time. And finally, I found out the solution in the Procreate forum. You just need to click the advanced blending options in Photoshop. Actually, you just need to double click on a layer in Photoshop and then turn off an option which is called, wait a minute. Let me look at my screen. You have to unhack the option transparency shapes layer in Photoshop. And then everything will be identical.
Huh. Okay, that's a good tip. Okay.
By the way, if you want me to screen share, I can do that as well. If later some thing comes up which requires.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Let's save that for there's a section in here that I think would be good for that. I just want to kind of cover these three tools really quick.
Yeah, layers. Yeah.
Lighting is the next one I think we should talk about, because you're doing subsurface.
Yeah.
You're doing rim light, obviously, always with the rim light. And then you have diffuse shadow. And you have two different kinds of shadows that you're using, right?
Oh, did I? Yeah, it depends. Maybe it depends on how many layers I'm allowed to use.
I wanted to ask you too about the layering technique. You're using just the round brush when you put down the diffuse shadow?
No. Oh yeah. Because to do the rendering, to do the basic rendering, you only need the round brush. You can use any kind of brush.
Yeah.
It's round brush.
I think you're really good at it, or I don't know, you have some technique with the round brush, because I've been trying to use the round brush for those diffused shadows, and it's too lumpy. Like it's I know I can make the size smaller, but just your technique is really smooth with it. But you put it in and then you use the smudge tool with like a soft airbrush, or
I smudge with a small airbrush. Yeah.
The small or the soft?
I think in the brush set it's called the small. I'm not sure. Actually, it doesn't really matter. You can take another airbrush. You can smudge with any kind of soft brush. I would say that brush really doesn't matter. You can use a round brush, or you can use a square brush. The only thing matters in rendering is you need to use some kind of brush which can make smooth and even shading, even strokes.
Okay.
You don't want to have, yeah, as you said, those blotchy patches.
Sorry, I'm just moving stuff.
No
So
problem.
yeah, is there something that you're doing to get those like really smooth edges? Because it seems like when you're doing like the diffused shadow, you're getting these like really clean edges with that. So you put it down with the soft brush, and then you smudge it with the smudge tool, and then you go in and clean it with an eraser, or?
Now I usually just paint with a hot brush, hot round brush, paint it very evenly,
Mhm.
just like when you do the cell shading, and then I smudge the boundary. I smudge those places where the form is round. It's more round, I smudge more, right? And by smudging, I also pay attention that I get a really smooth result. And all that being said, I think brush doesn't matter. It's the way you observe, the way where you put those strokes. That really matters. I can also not use those smooth brushes. I can use a texture brush or use any kind of painterly brush to do the same kind of shading. Then you'll get a very different effect, but still the shading will stay solid because yeah, the observation really matters.
So what kind of opacity are you using when you do that though? Like, is it about half opacity and then you just build it on top?
Yeah, yeah. I think just to do the first pass of shading, yeah. Now I often use 100% opacity. I just turn down the layer opacity so that it doesn't become too dark. The reason is I I don't know if it happens to you. If I use 15% opacity, then sometimes the stroke breaks while I'm drawing, and then it adds another layer onto the shading. Do you
Really?
have a problem? Maybe it's my Apple Pencil.
I have had a problem with a line breaking in the middle of a stroke.
Yeah, that's a problem. And if you're doing shading, then if it breaks, and if you shade again onto the region you've already shaded, it will add another layer onto it, right? It'll
Oh,
make it uneven.
huh. I don't know. I always just attributed that to the fact that I've been grinding on that Apple Pencil for like 2 years and I haven't replaced the nib. And I also haven't replaced my
Maybe
screen protector.
I know where that problem comes from because I have the what's it called?
Yeah,
Glove.
drawing glove.
I
But
have that, and my Apple Pencil is also fairly new.
yeah, okay. So do you replace the nib on the pencil?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and that bothers me a lot. If there weren't this problem, then I would shade with 50% opacity,
Uh-huh.
and then I can add another layer of shading if I want to go darker, right?
Okay. Well, let's talk about lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the
Lighting.
expert with lighting. I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Yeah, I think we've been already talking about lighting, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
About shade,
yeah,
yeah.
lighting is about observation. It's because we don't see values and we also don't see colors correctly. It's not that we don't pay attention. It's that there is a built-in processing in our brain which prevents us from seeing values correctly. And you have to be aware of this visual illusion. I think you were at my workshop in
Yeah.
caricature, right? I talk
Yeah,
about
that's pretty amazing, those things when you do those illusions and you look at that. I mean,
yeah.
I remember that from when I was a kid in grade school, but like looking at that stuff as a painter, it's you can see how flawed your vision actually is.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that really lies in the heart of all the difficulties of shading. If you know how to find those illusions where they appear on an image, actually they are ubiquitous. And if you know where to look for them and how to avoid them, then you'll be able to do a perfect shading. And it's very difficult to avoid. Even I've been paying attention to that for many years, and even I fall for traps now and then.
So I wanted to ask you about after you put down the local color and go in and you're doing the subsurface scatter, are you doing, okay, so I need to get clear on the layer thing. So subsurface or subcutaneous scatter, like for example, the light that's coming through somebody's ear.
Yeah.
But what about the light that's just going across the face? That's the subsurface, right?
I don't do the subsurface scattering right after local color. Actually, I do it rather late after I've done diffuse shadow.
Okay.
And yeah, you're right. Those lights that come through ear, these are subsurface scattering. And if it's in the shadow zone, yeah, for example, let's look at my face right now. Right? So this is, this side. This is the terminator, right?
Yeah.
So subsurface scattering, it has a wide-reaching effect, not only in those places where your skin is thin or where your tissue is thin, but it also has a very strong effect on how the shadow will look like. That's why I don't shade the shadow on organic materials. I don't shade it with black, because subsurface scattering makes the shadow much softer and much more saturated than if without. And it also, yeah, it makes the terminator softer and more saturated.
Right.
And also, yeah, and that was it. That was it. That was the effect.
So I have another question about highlights and specular shadows, or specular highlights. So your specular highlights are more of like what you're seeing on your glasses right now and what's on your eye and maybe something off of your teeth.
Specular highlights, yeah.
Or something that's off of a piece of a jewelry. But then you have the other highlights, right, which are more...
What kind of other highlights do you mean?
Well, let me ask you that. I want to ask about the terminology of that. So like you're calling, you have one layer that's specular highlights, but then you have another layer that's, do you have any other highlight layer? Like the highlight that's on the tip of your nose or on your cheekbone or something like that.
Well, so how do you define highlight? What do you think? What is highlight actually?
I would say, I mean, the way I see highlight is like when the light bounces off a elevated surface and the light comes directly back into your eye.
Yes, this is actually the definition of specular reflection.
Oh, that's a specular reflection.
Yes. Specular reflection is when light bounces off a surface and directly without entering the surface. And highlight is not, there is no other kinds of highlight. Highlight is specular reflection.
Okay. So
highlight is the brightest part of the specular reflection.
So then you would call like the area at the tip of your nose or the area at the end of your cheekbone.
Those are all specular reflections. I think I name my layers mostly just with specular reflection. I don't have a highlight layer by its own.
So you're saying that because the tip of your nose, it doesn't bounce, it does actually enter your nose. It doesn't totally bounce back. And then you have
yeah. Every light ray will be split into two parts, specular and diffuse. Specular bounce off the surface directly, and diffuse is where the light ray enters the surface and it exits in random directions.
So you could call that area at the tip of your nose a diffused highlight.
No, this is a specular highlight because every highlight is caused by specular reflection.
Okay.
There's okay, highlight is the brightest part of specular reflection.
Right.
And the brightest part of diffuse reflection doesn't really have a name. It's just the brightest part of the diffuse reflection.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right.
every highlight you see on the painting, on the photograph, they are specular reflections.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for clarifying that.
No problem.
Yeah, I was getting a little mixed up with that. So let's talk about. Well, we can still talk a little bit more about lighting if you want. I mean, if you want to talk about like specular highlights or rim lighting or
Yeah. So rim lighting, yeah, we can talk about rim lighting. So if I call light rim light, it's not okay. Specular and diffuse. These are two mechanisms of light reflection. First of all, every light and every color you see are reflections, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except if you stare into the light source directly. So specular and diffuse, these are two physical mechanisms. But rim light is not a physical mechanism. It's just a name for a light which appears at the rim.
Yeah.
So it's different categorization. And rim light also consists of specular and diffuse, because every light consists of two parts, every reflection.
Okay.
And yes?
If you're pointing the light, like for example, if you're pointing a light source at a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
there's no diffused part about that.
Yes, mirror is purely specular.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really the only.
A perfect mirror is purely specular, but in a real mirror there might be some diffuse.
Okay.
Yeah. Just very tiny, you don't see it.
So is there anything else about, I mean, God, we could talk about light for a whole hour, so maybe we should move on to another one.
Yeah.
There's like the different light sources mixing under the skin, you know, if it's two different colors and then it creates a third color, and that's just, if you want to know that, like buy T. Ding's book, How Light Works. Wait, you don't have a book called How Light Works?
You can pre-order it.
Yeah, pre-order, yeah.
Pre-order it with no guarantee of.
You should though. That's something that you could do for sure. You understand light totally. But also a good book for that is this one right here. I'll show you. It's this one.
Yeah. Wait for it. This one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, of course, I know this book. It's a classical, right?
Yeah. Okay. So
I must say I read that book, but I think he didn't deal with he didn't have the correct theory of lighting.
See, that's why you should write your own book.
Something is missing. Some important factors are missing. Things. And I do plan to write a book eventually. Actually, nice. I'm now working on some materials already.
Nice. Okay, well, I want to pre-order that after we're done. So, James Gurney, if you're listening, you need to rewrite your book because T. Ding is going to come out with one. So let's talk a little bit about learning, because these are the three main tools that I thought of when I thought about better Procreate portraits. There's layers, okay. There's lighting, okay. You obviously have to know how to be a draftsman and make the drawing look like the likeness and structure and all of that stuff. But that's kind of a given. But I put learning in there because I feel like I always go back to that. Like no matter how long I've been making art, I always try to go back and take courses as if I'm a newcomer, like as if I never have learned that stuff before, because everyone has a different perspective on it, and the science behind light and the science behind portraiture and all of that is there. It's all kind of the same, but people approach it in different ways. So I guess I don't know. I guess I just want to see if you had anything to say about learning and what that means to become a better portrait artist in Procreate, especially.
Portrait artist. You mean portrait? Portrait or
Caricature, portrait, yeah.
caricature? I know. Keep learning. I am still learning, and there is still a lot to learn. And on Instagram, yeah, I look at what other artists do. I get inspirations all the time. And
Do you learn a lot of your stuff just by looking up, like, for example, if you want to learn a tool about Procreate or whatever, do you just look it up on YouTube and try to find a good tutorial?
I think the tools themselves are not that complicated, right? Yeah, if I have some technical issues, I just look it up in YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's about the painting technique,
Mm-hmm.
then I just learn by looking at the work of other artists. Because I think I have a framework of theory with which I can break down the work of other artists,
Mm-hmm.
and I can figure out how they do that, how to achieve a certain look.
Okay.
With my theory of lighting. Actually, my theory of lighting was mostly inspired by the 3D rendering technique, right? The 3D rendering programs.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you about your more painterly stuff. Are you using the same kind of layers when you're doing, like, for instance, that Einstein one or any, like, the Eminem one?
Yeah, at that time I didn't go really strictly analytical. I didn't use all the layers that I use today.
Mm-hmm.
I did paint a lot of lighting on just one layer, and I added extra layer for some lighting effects. But today, if I do that painterly style again, I would indeed combine the analytical technique into the painterly style.
Do you use certain brushes? I mean, to me, it looked like you were using like oil and turpentine.
On which piece? Yes, I used the oil brush in Procreate on that Eminem piece.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that was only oil brush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but for other pieces, I don't stick with one brush. If I want to do a painterly style piece, I just experiment with brushes. And I think brush is where this loosely look comes from, but also smudging is essential. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that smudge tool.
Yeah. It's
So,
about
go ahead.
smudging. It's all about edge control and shape control, shape design, and edge control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want to move on a little bit from that and talk just about, like, one of the reasons I call this podcast Famous When I'm Dead is because it's, I don't know about where you're from, but like in the US, it's artists, and especially when you're in art school, people say that a lot. They're like, well, I'll have to wait till I'm dead before I'm famous. So, the podcast isn't really about fame. It's about, like, learning what you need to know, like, to be an artist that not just gets by, but someone who's actually thriving and successful as an artist, and that has some kind of notoriety. And I think that obviously people have different approaches, but there are some kind of universal things that people do to become and then stay successful as an artist. I put 5 steps to becoming a successful artist because that's attractive to click on.
Tell me about that.
But we don't have to go with 5 steps necessarily unless you've already come up with something. But what are some of the things that you do to like continue to grow as an artist and to not just technically, but like for your career? Like what are some of the practices that you do to keep yourself getting a good income?
I think you need to find a niche, right? To be successful as an artist, you need to do something that not everybody does. Have to have your own style. Yeah, I think that's the most important factor for being successful. And I don't consider myself to be much actually. There are much more successful artists out there.
Yeah, you're up there. You're
No,
pretty far up there. I mean, you have
get my
notoriety.
artist.
People know you. You know, a lot of people that you don't know you. So I think you're pretty well known.
You think so?
I would say that I think you're successful. I would say that pretty confidently. I mean, I don't know if you're rich, but you're definitely successful, and people know you and they follow you and they follow your work and they take your lessons.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think you think I'm very famous. It's because we are in the caricature artist circle. This is a very small circle, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not well known among the general artists, not at all, or among other illustration artists.
Okay.
And yeah, some of my work, they went around in web, but people don't know my name. Maybe they have seen one or two pieces.
So one thing about niche that what you said, it made me think of this. They say that you should go an inch wide and a mile deep. So that's American.
Yeah. I think that's a very good saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually wanted to jump back to the learning thing for a second because I mentioned this in the last interview, but I'm reading this book. I read this book recently about mastery, and they talk about like the road to mastery basically is mainly on a plateau. So you're going and going and going and learning and learning and learning, but you're not really, doesn't feel like you're really growing. You're just kind of like staying on this plateau. And then once you intuitively understand something, you make a leap, you jump, but the jump doesn't last that long. It's a very quick jump, and then you land on another plateau, and you're on that plateau for a long time, and you don't feel like you grow. So as far as learning goes, that's just one thing that I wanted to say one more time is that it's important to get comfortable with that plateau. It's important to not get frustrated and to not give up when you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. Like you're drawing every day for a month and you don't see any change. And that just means that you haven't completely internalized the process yet. But once that click happens and you internalize it, you'll see an artistic leap.
Yeah. Well, where do you think those leaps come from?
I think what happens is that we practice and we practice and we practice, and we have to concentrate on how we're practicing. And then once we get to a certain point, we internalize that. It becomes unconscious. It becomes automatic.
Yeah.
And once that becomes automatic, then we make the jump. But it takes time to get your body and your mind used to that new technique. So.
Yeah. I think that's true. Yeah.
So are there any other like things that you do? I mean, what about your frequency of painting? I mean, you're just painting every day, right?
Yeah. Actually, I do. Yeah. I don't have much other free time activity at all, actually. Painting is my job and my hobby, so I do it all the time.
So how many hours a day do you think you paint?
The whole day.
Really?
Yeah, not always painting, but always painting related.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe writing emails. That takes a lot of time.
You need an AI program to write your emails for you so you can paint more.
Yeah, actually, my wife helps me to deal with my clients as well.
Okay.
So that takes a lot of burden off me. Uh, Writing emails, and recently I've been spending a lot of time just doing teaching materials, making teaching materials,
Mm-hmm.
and I have, yeah, to give feedback on my forum
Mm-hmm.
and so on, those related stuff.
So do you do any other kind of painting to keep you loose, like aside from doing the traditional painting style stuff, or?
Yeah, now I try to do some watercolor,
Oh, nice.
which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Digital or regular?
a regular.
Oh, nice. Is it Jan Optebeck? Is he inspiring you to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Young has been a huge inspiration for me all the years.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great
Actually,
guy.
I would say he's the biggest inspiration for me from the first day I began to do caricature.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, what
I
about?
met him in 2009. And
Okay.
before that, I already have studied lots of his works.
Nice. So what about other influences that you have aside from Jan? Like, who would you say your top three influences are?
Uh,
Sam King Davis, Jan
I,
Optebeck.
I can show you my screen because I put together some inspirations.
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah, which one do I click?
I think we
With
only have
share. Oh, here it is.
one
No.
person watching now. It's weird. We get a lot of viewers that pop on. We'll get like 20 people. They'll come on for just a second and they'll be like, nope, not watching that. And they leave.
Too boring.
Yeah. Too much talk about rim lighting, I think.
Oh, I don't know where to click to screen share. Oh, here.
Yes, Isran.
This is display one, featured Thailand.
I'm not really sure. Oh, now I see a blank screen. Now I see my screen. Or no, this is your screen.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, now yeah. You had a 3D program open.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
cool.
I prepare for this question.
Now let me see if I can name all the artists. I think I know all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Aaron Philby.
Yes.
Okay.
Did that one of me?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's really good.
And the one right above it is Manny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the one next, of course, is Nate Kepnitsky.
Yes.
And then you have Jan Optebeck.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to move to the right. You have Eric Goodwin.
Yes. This is my family.
Oh.
I asked him to do a commission. And this is also, I asked Nate to do a commission many years ago. Do you know this guy?
No.
He's the second most famous Austrian artist who died 100 years ago, Egon Schiele.
Oh, I know Egon Schiele. Yeah.
I love that.
He actually lived in Český Krumlov. He lived in the Czech Republic.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he was famous in Austria as well. And then you have Ninja Sketch. You have Kiko.
Uh-huh.
And then you have Zach Trinholm.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is over here.
You know, he's from Germany. Roberto.
I'm gonna look him up. I'll look him up later.
Roberto Fryer. He's also a live caricature artist.
Oh, nice. Maybe I'll meet him at Euroculture at some time.
And there are lots more.
Mm-hmm. What is this program you're using? Is that Pure Ref?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I can also show you the influence that I had when I was a child. Do you know this kind of painting style?
Yeah.
It's the traditional Chinese brush work.
Yeah.
yeah, traditional Chinese ink painting. So yeah, in our tradition, the artists, they didn't strive for realism, not really, but it's rather a kind of expressionism, right?
Huh?
It's all about edge control, about shape design. It's not
Yeah,
about shading.
it's beautiful.
And I learned that kind of painting when I was very young. I think that uh, sticks with me all the years.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Can we go to the paintings that you have down there, or you have some below
Here,
that?
yeah,
Yeah, wow. Who's that?
this one.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's a random character that I did.
It's Scruff McGruff. Do you know who Scruff McGruff is?
No,
Scruff McGruff is a dog who is helping fight drugs, fight the drug war.
a cartoon.
Yeah, it was a character in the early 90s, and he would say, I'm Scruff McGruff, and I'm here to fight drugs. It was in the US. I think that's Scruff.
Okay. Yeah, when I grew up in China, there was no Western TV at
Um,
all.
well,
So
who's the artist there?
which artist?
The one who did this painting to the left?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, that's you? Okay.
uh, oh, these are all my works.
Oh, they're all yours.
Yeah, I wanted to show you that I my influence of this kind of traditional Chinese painting. You can see that influence in my painting as well.
Yeah, yeah. Man, they're really beautiful.
Before I got really clean with my style,
Yeah,
right?
they're really
And
nice. Yeah.
it's all about edge control. First, you need to get the values correct, values and colors, and then you get loose with edges.
Hmm. So when you have that layer that's base color,
Mhm.
you're doing the same value, right? Everything is more or less the same value.
Yes, on the base color, everything's flat.
Okay. Let me ask you about these paintings that you have here at the bottom.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, wait.
were those digital?
Okay. Okay. You see my screen now?
Uh-huh.
These paintings?
The ones that you did, are they digital?
Oh yes, these are all digital.
Okay. And whose paintings are those to the right?
These are my inspirations. Um, this is Craig Millen.
Oh,
Do you know
Craig
him?
Miller?
Craig Millen. He he is the most famous concept artist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know him.
And this one, I forgot the name. It was a Polish artist. Yeah, I like this kind of loose style, right? The values are really accurate, but
Wow.
it's very painterly. And this is a Chinese artist. I forgot his name. Down here.
Oh, they're yelling at the screen right now. They're so angry. They're watching this podcast and they're really angry right now that you're forgetting their name.
Yeah. And I actually I want to ask you, if you look at these four drawings, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I call them paintings. These are Chinese paintings. How do you rate them? The best one and the least best one? Maybe let's order them this way. Okay. Maybe it's difficult to order them in a.
I would probably say that the one at the bottom is the best.
This one is the best.
Yeah, you think that one's the worst, don't you?
Oh my God.
I like the one
Tell me why.
I like the one to the left as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one's nice because the perspective is really interesting on that one.
Mm-hmm. So you think this one's the best and this one second best?
I think I'll reverse it. I like the one on the left.
This is the best one?
Yeah, I like that one the most.
Yeah, I think so too. I think these two, they are both very, very good because
Why do you like the one at the top so much?
I think the top one is middle. These two, they are the best. Maybe this one is the best. And it's because they have very good shape design.
Uh-huh.
And this one here, it lacks, yeah. This kind of painting is actually very simple, right? It's very simple, but not easy. Those lines, you need to, they're simple lines, but you need to have lots of consideration in drawing these lines. Yeah. It's all about the direction, the angle, and the width, right? And the curvature. How do you arrange them in an interesting way?
Yeah, I think the one on the left is interesting because it feels like you're looking down on it, and it also feels like you can look into the ground and see what's happening.
Yeah, well, actually, when I look at these paintings, I'm not looking at how realistic they represent those plants. Rather, it's a very abstract way of looking at images. It's an abstract notion of aesthetic. It's because I grew up with this kind of style of painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so I might have a very different perception as Western people do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the more I look at it, the more I can see how the lines are so carefully made that it looks actually like a blade of grass. And the one that you have the mouse on right now, the lines are more sloppy. So yeah, it feels more natural, the one on the left.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It's also about realism. It's about how natural, yeah, how natural really looks, right? How nature really looks.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask anybody who's watching on the Instagram feed right now if they have any questions, because
Yeah.
I think we kind of talked about a lot of it already, and I think that as far as 5 steps to becoming a successful artist, I think that if you paint 12 hours a day, you're gonna pretty much be successful. But does anyone in the live broadcast on Instagram have any questions? Go ahead and type them in now, because yeah, don't wait. Put your questions in now. I'll give you another minute or two. So is there anything that you want to promote, or is there anything that you want people to know about that you're doing?
Yeah, I offer online tutoring. If somebody is interested, can contact me.
And how do people find you on Instagram?
Look for my name.
Okay.
CD.
I'll put that also in the notes on the podcast so people will see.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the questions from Hannah?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me go to that then. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm going to open up my iPad real quick. How often do you replace your screen cover on your iPad? That's my question.
Oh, my screen cover? I don't use any screen cover.
What?
Yeah, I ordered one screen cover, and then I noticed that my pen nib wears off very quickly with the screen cover.
Really?
So I stopped using it.
Maybe that's why I'm having problems with my nib.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the smooth screen needs a little bit getting used to, but I think it's fine for me.
Okay, she wrote me. Oh, I remember one of the questions was, do you prefer pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes and waffles.
Which
Pancakes.
do you like
Definitely
pancakes?
pancakes.
Do you like anything in your pancakes?
Oh, that's your question.
Yeah,
I
that's my
actually
question.
anticipated the answer. Pancakes. Yeah, in Austria we have palatschinken. No? Do you have that?
Yeah, palatschinki. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you put all kinds of stuff in pancakes. So
Oh, you're thinking of yeah, but that's a crepe.
yeah, crepe. Yeah, that's
Crepe.
crepe. Hmm.
Pancakes are a little
Oh, it's
different.
different. Oh,
Yeah, they're the same thing, but they're much thicker and they're not folded over. They're just like round cake.
yeah, yeah. I think I got that from McDonald's pancake. I didn't like that.
No, yeah, because you got it from McDonald's. That's why.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea. That question is maybe too American. We
Yeah.
don't have lots of waffles here in Europe, right?
Oops. I'm gonna go to my I'm gonna go to my screen here and try to find it. I forget where she wrote these questions.
It's fine. I,
I think maybe one of the questions was also like, uh, who would win in a fight, a bear or a shark?
a bear or a shark? Oh wow, that's a very creative question. You know.
It depends on the bear and the shark, right?
uh, yeah, I know. I won't win either.
No. But if it's a Kodiak bear, it's probably gonna kill like a weaker shark. But if it's a brown bear or a black bear
Yeah,
and versus a great white, then the great white would definitely win.
I think bears, if they fight on the equal stage, right? If I know, where do they fight? If in water, if on land? If let's suppose they can, maybe they fight in space. They're imaginary bears and sharks. I still think a bear is more flexible because
Yeah.
shark only has his teeth. A bear has much more possibilities to attack. Bear would win, right? We are
Yeah.
mammals. Bear is a mammal. We are we are better than fish.
Whoa, careful now. You're gonna have the fish community come at you now. They're
Come at me, no problem.
gonna...
I'll cook you all.
My friend used to ask this question. He's like, if you were alone in a room with an animal and it was just you and the animal, what is the biggest animal that you would be able to kill with your bare hands?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Bare hands. Just with my bare hands.
Just with your,
With
not your bare
not
hands, bare hands.
not with my intelligence.
No, you
I
can't.
don't think I can kill anything with bare hands.
Not even like a fly or a spider or something.
No. Can you kill a fly with your bare hands?
Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
Let me ask you, if you find, this is totally off topic, but if you find like a spider or a bug in your house, do you kill it or do you put it out the window?
Yeah, I will put it out the window. Now I will put it out the window. Now I get the sensibility of yeah, not treating animals bad here
Yeah.
in Europe. Before when I grew up in China, yeah, I would just kill them, just like my parents would do.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think about the whole situation with Corona? Is it messing up your business a lot or
Yeah, yeah, of course. As live caricature artist, yeah, I think we are in the same boat.
yeah, a
Yeah,
sinking boat, the same sinking boat, the Titanic, yeah.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask you too, did you build your own website?
Oh yeah, yeah. I made my own website. Yeah.
And did you do the coding yourself or
Yeah. I can do a little bit coding, not that
okay,
much. Yeah.
okay. Well, it's a great website. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Let me see if anybody has a question. Watch. Which of your drawings is your favorite?
Uh-huh. Uh, I think for my painterly style, that painting of Einstein is still my favorite.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was done so many years ago. It's sad, right? After that, I haven't done a better piece actually.
Huh.
For
How
my
much
current style, I
how
don't
much time did you spend on that?
actually not that much. I think I spent 2 days. It was meant to be a studio piece, I guess. No. It was meant for the Caricaturama uh, competition on Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah, I
did you
spent
win?
2 nights on it. Yeah, I won.
Yeah, you should have won. It's an amazing piece. Let's see. Guys, we have a little bit more time for questions. So anybody who is just tuning in, go ahead and put your question up and we can ask. Do you have a favorite one from the last year?
Uh, yeah. Last year I've done mostly those clean stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I can't think of one right now. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe in 1 year I have several pieces which I'm quite happy of, but I'm not happy with most of the pieces.
Okay. So out of 100 pieces, how many are you happy with?
I don't know, 10.
That's pretty hard. You're being pretty hard on yourself.
10. Uh, yeah. I think my favorite piece of the clean style is maybe the profile picture that I use, the Henry Cavill piece.
Can you show it on your screen?
Yeah. Let me open screen share again. Where is it? Display one. This one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Oh, you mean in my profile?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, that's
You
sad
know,
again. It's so way back.
no, I really like the John Wick. The ones that you did here, yeah, the Thor is really nice.
Ah,
That's a great style, man. It's really, really unique. Oh, the one that you did too of if you go up,
huh?
the this one right here, the
This
one,
one?
yeah, yeah, that one's really nice.
Yeah, I like this one as well. I like this one as well.
Did you collage the background or did you paint that?
What do you guess?
You collaged it.
Yeah, that
I
was
do the
just a
same
short
thing
photo.
though. I think it's a nice effect.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's no need to paint it.
No, it's a waste of time.
Yeah. Actually, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, it's
My
nice.
my favorite in 2018.
Oh,
It's from 2018. Oh, 19
how,
really? Oh, January.
how many paintings do you make per year?
Oh, not that many actually. Yeah,
Really?
strange. I work all the time, but not that many paintings.
Huh.
Actually, there are quite a lot that I didn't post.
Uh, I
And
mean, do you finish like 3 paintings per week or
less.
really?
Average less. Yeah.
And what is it about that? Are you working on them and then you stop and you come back to them later or
Often I just don't like the painting. I just give up. I'll start a new one.
that's a nice encouragement. See, encourage people to give up.
Uh, I uh yeah. When I look at the paintings from a year ago, I don't like most of them. Most of them.
Hmm.
For example, this one. This one did quite well on YouTube.
Who is that?
That's Alita, the Battle Angel. The live action film came out last year, but
Ah,
it was originally a manga,
ah,
manga figure. It
uh-huh.
was my childhood favorite manga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think something is really off with the eyes.
Can you tell what it is? Because I don't see it.
I think they're too big.
Well,
I'm
that's
not sure.
yeah.
Yeah, in the film, also in the manga, she has really big eyes, but I think the shape is not very appealing.
Oh, I see.
I should have shaded the eyes more.
Okay.
I like this one.
How many times? Yeah, that one looks great. How many times will you go back to rework a piece? Like for me, because for me, like I'll work on it for a couple of hours and then I'll put it down sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'll come back and I'll do it. I'll work on it one more time, but the second time I work on it, I like to finish it the second time.
Yeah. Actually, I always want to finish one piece in a uh, in a stroke. I
Once,
don't want, yeah, once. I don't want to take pause. But when I finish a piece, the next day I will find lots of issues.
oh yeah,
So I begin to change, and
yeah.
then yeah, a day later I have to tweak it again. So usually I finish a piece and then wait several days.
Several days. Okay, I
Yeah.
usually I need one day to come back and find all the problems. But what I'll do is I'll come back the next day, I'll find the problems, I'll fix the problems, and then I'll post it, and then I'll look at it later and I'll find more problems. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it just never stops like that. So
Yeah.
I'll usually let myself correct it once or twice, but then I stop because I know I just need to move on to the next piece.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot too. Every time after posting, I used to delete my post and post again.
Yeah, me too. I do that almost every time, actually.
But somehow I think, yeah, if I already have lots of comments and likes, then I think somehow it's difficult to delete.
Yeah, yeah, that's more of a problem for you because you have a lot more followers.
Yeah, maybe
How
I
about
just I archive the post if I really don't like it.
Um, can we talk about this one down here on the bottom right
Hmm.
where the woman is looking to the side? Yeah, that one. Can we look at the layer breakdown on that? Because
Uh-huh.
that's just really beautiful. I mean, the piece. Okay, so take us through the layers. We'll do one screen share demonstration before we go. So take us through the layers on this step by step.
Yeah, this is the diffuse shadow.
Now that looks already like really clean and 3D,
Yeah.
and this is with the round brush, the smudge tool, and then the airbrush, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Here it's already in a quite advanced stage of painting diffuse shadow. Usually I don't do that much. I don't do that kind of smooth shadow.
Okay.
Okay, in my recent pieces I've done that all the time, but a bit later, a bit earlier I didn't do that. So this is the diffuse shadow, and diffuse shadow is what gives the form the volume. The three-dimensionality comes from the diffuse shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is the specular reflection.
Now I have to correct you on that because you told me that
Yes.
specular reflection is only coming from the light being directly reflected back to your eye, but this one you have some of the specular reflection on the skin.
Yeah, that's the reflection of the light source.
Okay.
This is the reflection of the sky.
And this is in the add layer or the
Yes.
add
Yes.
blend. Uh-huh.
Yes. This is add layer because whenever you paint light, you use add.
And what kind of brush are you using with this?
I use the same brush all the way through. I didn't use any texture brush on this one. It
Wow.
was all just a round hard brush and then smudge with soft airbrush.
Wow, okay.
Specular reflection, yeah. Actually, you can paint the diffuse shadow also as diffuse light. You can paint instead of shadow, you can paint light. So shadow and light are really the two sides of the one thing. Instead of painting shadow using multiply, I could also have painted light using add. The only difference is if I paint the shadow as light, then first I need to darken everything. Then I can add light to it, right? If I begin with a flat color like this, then I cannot go up that much. I cannot add too much light before it overexposes.
Yeah.
So I start with, so to say, I start at the middle and I go down the values by painting shadow, and then I go up by painting light. That's how usually a 3D image is composed. And this is the rim light. Yeah. So I go up again. Actually, before painting the rim light, I usually go down again by adding a solid layer, a multiply layer to darken everything so that the rim light will stand out more. Right? Yeah, and in the rim light, I mixed both components, diffuse and specular, together just on one layer. Okay. Because rim light is also composed of, diffuse and specular, right? And this is a second light source. Okay. This is the diffuse from the sky.
Okay. So this is atmospheric light.
Not atmospheric. It's just the sky is still a light source by itself.
Yeah.
Right. So this was the this is the sun, the light source. Okay, which light source is this? That's a good question.
Which one?
Yeah, which light source is this diffuse shadow? What did I do? Oh my God. I can't explain my own painting now.
Well, that's the
light from the sun. Yeah,
it's the light from the sky.
I think I mixed several light sources together. This is, I think it's because I painted from the photo reference. So on the photo reference, there are mainly two light sources: the sun and the sky, and maybe some reflecting objects. Oh, I think they, of course, if they make a film, they will have some reflectors over here in front of the subject. So I'm not really strict in separating light source on this piece. So this
you have a clipping mask, right? Like you have her.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's why these lightings look so messy on the one end. So this might be sky. What did I do there? Oh, what is this? Oh, this is where I added all the lighting layers together.
Yeah.
And this is adding all the light layers together.
To the shadow layers, yeah.
All the lightings together, light and shadow, yeah. And then put on top of that.
Man, it's incredible. I mean, it's incredible to see that compared to the flat colors. It's really beautiful. It's a nice piece. It's really nice.
Thanks. I like this piece better. So somehow this piece, I think I over detailed. The design on this piece is not very appealing for me. I think this one I did well on simplifying.
Yeah. Do you sell these prints?
No. How much do you think I can ask for a print? $20 or more?
Maybe more. Yeah. 30, maybe 40.
Really?
It depends. If you go to an art exhibition or an art show, like art fair, like, some Comic-Con or something, then you'll be able to sell them for 40 or 50 if you sign them,
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
I did go to Comic-Con in Vienna.
Yeah, how was that?
I saw prints, yeah. I saw prints, but just for 12.
What? I would have definitely bought your print for 12.
Yeah, I don't think so many people will really buy prints for a higher price.
Well, what were the other people? I keep trying to scroll down on your screen as
Okay.
if it's my screen. What what were the other artists selling their work for?
You mean on Comic Con in Vienna?
Yeah, the other artists.
Yeah, they sell prints about the same price range.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and they sell some originals as well.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I didn't sell original. I just did live live drawing caricatures.
Oh, nice. I actually have a question for you. My own question
Yeah.
is that have you done or do you ever plan on doing any work in concept design um, or storyboarding or anything like that?
Storyboarding not at all. But I've done some character designs. Yeah, but rather just for very small studios or maybe for private persons.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do want to do some character design work.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of getting into that as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, and maybe concept design. I like
Yeah,
concept design.
yeah, concept design. That's a totally different skill set, right? Than caricature. Yeah, I wanted to become a concept artist.
Yeah,
Then I just didn't get the time to develop my skill, I think.
yeah. Visual development is like kind of a general name for the field that I
Yeah,
might try to
yeah,
move into.
yeah,
That
yeah,
includes all of that. I mean, it includes character design and
yeah,
environment design.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
do you think that we're going to meet at Eurocouture? You think that's going to happen this year?
Oh yeah, it's happening in November, right?
Okay. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so. I hope that there's not a second wave of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
I have a mascot that I want to show you that I bought this way before the coronavirus happened, but I have this now. It's my mascot now.
Uh-huh. What do you mean by mascot? Do you wear it outside?
No, no, no. It's like a representation for coronavirus. Yeah, it's my little bat.
Yeah.
Well, man, we're going on 2 hours now.
Oh,
Usually,
really? Already?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But I had a really good time talking with you, man. I really
Yeah, it
appreciate.
was nice chatting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's nice to get to know you a little bit better, and congratulations on your baby that's coming up. It's
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'll make sure everyone gets the links to your stuff. Maybe you can send it to me how you want me to share it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, you can just share my Instagram profile.
okay. And I'll be releasing these probably on Monday.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one like on Friday because I'm doing 2 interviews every week now. But I'll give you plenty of notice before it comes out, and maybe you can post it on
Yeah.
your social media stuff, and we can get some people to watch it.
Hmm.
I think it was fun. I think people would like to watch it while they're making drawings or something. I had fun.
Yeah. Me too. I had fun.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't awkward like your last one.
Oh, you mean with Muhammad?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
felt a little awkward?
Yeah. It's getting better. This is my second interview.
Oh,
I,
nice.
I've done live streaming twice, right? But
Okay.
just twice. And live streaming is much more awkward.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you don't talk to people, and then there's a huge delay between, yeah, between your the question of the people and your answer. And the first time with Mohammed, yeah, was very new for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the thing. When I tune into a live broadcast, I like for people to read what I'm saying to the artist. Like I like to communicate with the artist because it makes me feel like I'm a part of the experience, you know. But
Hmm.
most of the time people don't read it or they're, too busy painting or whatever. So I think that that's a word of advice that I try to use. Like when I'm doing a live broadcast, I try to like read the comments and stuff because that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why we're going live so people can talk to us while we're, working or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The great seeding, everybody. Thank you for
That's
sharing
great.
some of your secrets. And yeah, I hope to see you on Discord, and I hope to see you in Vienna.
Yeah. Hope that happens in November.
Okay.
And hope to see you again.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night, man. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, bye.
Happy painting. Bye.
Bye.
Right, Len, what are we going to do tomorrow night?
Guess.
Oh, yeah, trying to take over the world. Right.